Abhay, we set up a dialogue because it's important to understand why you as a founder, me as a founder are together setting this up. So many people ask me, what is it and what is the reason that I'm going into a second time to set up, help a campus being set up, and several people have asked me, why is Abhay setting up another campus? You see, it's important to have a dialogue because the people are interested. So my question to you would be, why would you want to go into an education system, or why did you go into an education system which you did the first time about 12 years ago?
I think it was more of a destiny. I was busy with my industry and running my industries. An opportunity came. I think it was God's sent opportunity where the Sri SS Jain Education Society came and asked me whether I could start a women's college by giving a donation for the society. And I said yes. It was such a spontaneous yes that I think it was God sent, and it was Father's wish also to start a women's college. And there was no better opportunity than this to get into education field.
Abhay, is that there is a part of the upbringing which brings you into education. It's a part of my upbringing which makes me come to education. Our experiences of our lives which has meandered in many ways, finally it just comes and converges into creating an education institute. That is for me what is happening. What is happening for you?
For me, being in the pharma industry, I have realized that importance of the research. And I feel this is one area of education, in education, where we can bring in a lot of research, a lot of consultancy to the institutions. And that is what drives me to see that we build education system in such a way which can be highly research oriented and can bring in the Indian values and ethos into the system.
You've run this college for some time. Then you decided to make a departure and start another girls' college, but which was completely different than the one which is traditionally run, which is you went into liberal education. What made you go into or opt for liberal education and not expand it, enlarge it, or make it a bigger college? You went completely different.
We were, after 7 years of running the college, I was thinking, what are the next steps we should take to take our students' education to a different level? We set a team who went around India, who went abroad to study what are the new practices they are bringing into education. And one of them came to Flame. She studied the whole system at Flame and said that this is where we should bring about a paradigm shift in our education here in Chennai and bring liberal education. And when your name was mentioned, I said, I know Dr. Indira ji very well, and that's how I came in touch with you. And you were kind enough to design a liberal education program for day scholar college where we did not have the residential facility, and you agreed to design the course for them, and which was liked by the students and the parents equally.
But now that lasted only for a year. And once again you are going to make a departure. You are setting up another institution which is going to be a co-education, which is again a departure from your earlier two colleges. And also it has a much broader scope in the context of liberal education. It has many other futuristic directions which are emerging in education, some of which have just about glimpses, but you are making it into a program. Now, what makes you do such things that you are going to venture into it and take a plunge into that areas which are just about beginning to emerge?
I have always ventured into paths where others have not walked. It's not that I walk without understanding the concept. Having run the program in our college not for 1 year but for 2 years, we realized that for liberal education to be imparted in a proper way, we need a bigger campus, a residential program. It cannot be a day scholar program, and it has to be uh, imparting a holistic education. Combined with that, my pursuit to bring about the latest in technology made me realize that if we have to address the education needs of the future, where the World Economic Forum talks about Industrial Revolution 4.0, I realized that education also has to be of that standard which can meet these requirements for the future. And that is where we talk to all the technology providers. Our Dean Anuj Sharma helped me getting into contacts with all these technology providers, and we were able to get their support. And that made me confident that this is the right time to launch Auronya's PG Diploma program, which can impart these futuristic education to make the leaders of the future.
But you have not given up the focus on liberal education.
Definitely not. My, my success in my life, I feel I contributed more to the liberal education. When I was studying my engineering in between 70 and 75, I ventured into different areas of learnings. And I used to take a backpack and go around India every year during summer holidays, visiting different places, seeing different cultures, mingling with different types of people, which really exposed me to become more informative about what is latest happening in the country. Not only that, though I came from a not very rich background, but my friends helped me to learn riding, rowing, flying, music. I was playing a guitar. So all that really exposed me to the different areas of learning. And this is what is all about liberal education. So you are able to do multitasking of various subjects. And this really helped me to understand the concept of liberal education wholly. And I feel that every student, and that's the opportunity I give to the students in our college also, that they should get exposed to various sports, learnings, and ensure that not the academic course alone makes them holistic. It's the non-academic course also which makes them holistic. And that is one of the reasons why we have introduced archery in the college. And we have set a goal for ourselves that by 2020 Olympics, we should win a medal for the nation. It's the patriotism which drives us to ensure that we bring in the best for this country.
Right. You are going to give the students the horse riding and the rowing and all the things which you went through?
Definitely. And that is why we have chosen Pondicherry. And the location is such that we are close to a horse riding school, we are close to a flying school, we are close to ocean where we have scuba diving, we have surfing, and every sport activities are in and around the campus. So we are very fortunate to locate this in a serene and a very beautiful ambience which provides the necessary ecosystem for a fertile education. I have a question for you. After so many years of being in education, you still seem to be having a strong affinition towards education, and you want to devote more time than devoting more time for consulting. What makes you, what drives you for this?
See, Abhay, it's like you said, you were destined to go into education. I don't know anything else but education. I grew up in a family of people who were school principals. I married a husband who was in education. And of course, I did my education long after my marriage. Being in management and working with young people keeps thinking what we are learning and what we are teaching our education is so obsolete. The process sometimes is good because we do produce good students, but the knowledge, the wisdom, and we are so influenced by the education system which was designed by the British. We are really not looking at our own roots. We are looking at with education with the filters of some other cultures and other countries, and we don't even occasionally wear our own filters to see what our education is like. Second, our youngsters are very different. See, being free Indians, born in a prosperous India, born in an intellectual Indians, they aspire, and born into a technology which they are so in tune, they won't like the education we are providing. And if they don't like the education we are providing, how are they going to expand their minds? How are they going to expand their intelligence? They are going to be looking at the world with the filters of what they have learned. So, we have to change the filters, we have to remove the filters and help them see the world with their own eyes, experience the world in their own eyes, and to also see the heritage as well as the heritage of the countries as well as the realities of today. That is why I am into, and I have the opportunity. People like you come and say help us. So, I am continuously being, and industry keeps inviting me. So, that is already there.
Thank you. One more question I have is that you always emphasize on the Indian values, culture, ethos to be driven into the system of education. And that is what you have been saying, and we have tried to inculcate that into the Auronya. What drives you on that?
Abhay, I am a history student, and when I was teaching at IIM, when I was more so in the earlier years of IIM, it was very difficult for young people to identify what is positives in the country. They could very quickly identify the negatives like the health, hygiene, poverty, illiteracy. There were 7 major issues which were being emphasized over and over again. So, when I looked back into the history, there is a certain period in India's history which emphasizes this, and that before that everything is forgotten. It has no institutional memory except glorification. But there was a reality of history in India when it was the richest country in the world.
Very true.
If it was the richest country in the world and it has the best of the architecture which are available, it cannot be just that India was poor or India had no education. So, we need to have a reality appraisal of what was once India was, what is lost, and what has been infused as what the country is. So, we are looking at our country with eyes and interpretations which are completely not in alignment with what really was. So, I am saying if our generation of students loses that reality appraisal, where is it going to get the pride of the country? Where it is going to get the strength and the resilience and the spirit of the country? The country had a spirit, and we need to revive that spirit and make it realistic for today's times.
Very well said.
We had cultural strengths, we need to discover the positives and make it relevant for today's times. And if we can do it for our youngsters, who are a very different kind of youngsters, highly intelligent, highly capable, highly competent, with a positive pride in the nation, imagine where they would go. So, that's my passion.
And that's what we are trying to bring it at Auronya.
Yes.
Thank you very much.